The average American produces 4.4 pounds of trash per day. That makes 1,600 pounds a year. And all that trash goes in our beaches, on our mountains, in our rivers, and in our parks. There are ways to limit our trash, and people are making those changes.
Recently, I've been really concerned about just the amount of development and the amount of people on our planet and like the amount of destruction that we've caused so far. And I've been taking a lot of environmental studies classes this year and just like learning more about climate change. And it got really depressing after a while, and I felt like I wanted to do something to help, but I didn't necessarily know how or know what to do. My name is Izzy Lyle, and I have produced 2 mason jars full of trash since last fall. Last year, I joined a club called Vermont Students Toward Environmental Protection, and we ended up going to a conference called the Zero Waste Conference at the University of New Hampshire. And it completely changed my entire life, and just it solidified why I cared about the environment and kind of brought me on the path to environmentalism. And it was this one specific moment, and I can still remember it. It was a girl who walked on the stage carrying a mason jar full of trash, and she goes, "This is all of the trash that I produced in 2 years." And I was completely blown away. I had never heard of this before. I was like, how did she do this? And she went on to explain that she was using compostable toothbrushes and metal razors and a Diva cup and shopping in bulk and going to thrift stores rather than buying new clothes and things like that. And when I first went zero waste, I think my family was a little bit hesitant. They were like, "What is this?" And they were excited that I was excited about it, but there were certain things that they didn't like about it. So when I started making my own products, like my own lotion and shampoo and conditioner, they were like, "No, you can't do that." So we had to do some compromising. So rather than making my own shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste and stuff like that, I usually will buy more sustainable products like Dr. Bronner's bulk Castile soap that I can get at City Market, or Tom's toothpaste, which I can TerraCycle, things like that. So when I first decided to go zero waste, I took a shopping bag and decided to put all of my trash that I produced for the whole week in my shopping bag. And I was shocked at the amount of trash that I produced in 1 week. It was a lot of random things that I didn't really think about. Straws, wrappers that you get from a Mint after you go to a restaurant, takeout containers from restaurant, razors, tampons and things like that, rubber bands, tape. After I weighed my waste for the week, I decided, all right, I'm gonna try and commit to this 1 week of zero waste. And it was really challenging because I had a lot of things that I had to use up first. So I kind of started doing it slowly rather than all at once, even though I wanted to do it all at once. It didn't really work. So first I cut out my toothbrushes, and I got my compostable toothbrush, and then I got a Diva cup rather than tampons, and then I got a metal razor rather than a disposable razor. I got a glass straw that I use instead of a regular straw, and I learned kind of how to refuse straws when you go to restaurants and be like, "Oh, that's okay, I don't need a straw." And I think a lot of what I learned was that you have to be proactive to be zero waste. This is the other thing I have. This is my little kit that I just bring with me every day. So I have my napkin, my party pan, and my spoon. And yeah, I love when people look at me weird and ask me why do you have your own spoon, or why do you have your own pan? And then I can explain, oh well, actually I'm trying to reduce the amount of trash I produce, and then we can have an awesome conversation about it. So I'm not bothered by it at all.
I am Nancy Bobskill from Feeding Hills, Massachusetts, and I'm an environmental educator. Usually I'm volunteering, but because I was a teacher, I know people in town, so I can ask teachers, will your students help? I'll ask like the principal, do you mind if we do something within your school? And because they've known different things I did in school that were positive, they're receptive to my thoughts. This is Helga, and her motto is, don't be chicken, to practice zero waste. And so in the classroom and also in other venues that I talk about zero waste, I will show this, and then what I do is I take out each item and I explain how you can use this instead of something else to move towards zero waste. So I do this like 5-minute little presentation. The purpose of it is so that people can be laughing about zero waste than being all worried about all the trash, because it can be depressing. It's like a quest, but it's a quest that I don't want to go alone. I want other people to come along, because that's how we're really going to change the world. So this whole thing about avoiding disposables really goes beyond just things. It goes by how we view each other, how we view society, social justice. If you introduce them to something and you include them in, especially in an action project, students get it and they're energized. So when students come to the Connecticut River Cleanup and they're picking up various materials, they're enthusiastic and excited, and they feel they're a part of something bigger than themselves. So this will be the second year that as a community, we're doing this holiday used toy exchange. And so the goal is for people to bring used toys in good condition to the library. And then what happens is people shop for them for free the next day. And the purpose is to normalize reuse, and also people that are on tight budgets get toys. I'm kind of thinking on the big picture. I'm hoping that we can restore our oceans. And I'm also hoping that I don't want anything that I produce, trash, waste, whatever, to affect another person throughout the world. Because when I throw stuff out, I don't really know where it goes. So it could be going into the ocean as far as I know, and it could be affecting another person. So my big overarching thing is that how does this affect people that don't have a voice? I want to be a voice for those that don't have a voice.
The Central Vermont Solid Waste Management District is based out of Montpelier and serves 17 other cities and towns. With their zero waste implementation plan, they provide waste management programs, assisting residents in proper waste disposal and reduction efforts.
My name is Mike Peabody. I am from Barre, Vermont, and I am employed with a small Vermont solid waste district. If our district generates less trash, that's obviously thinning the pile for the entire state to have to worry about where it's going to get landfill and taken care of. For our own residents, though, we really offer a pretty wide variety of services to deal with things that are often extraordinarily difficult to handle. So many of them are geared toward low waste, zero waste, environmentally conscious lifestyles. Pick your buzzwords. They really want to do it. We do offer a specific set of zero waste, initiative-oriented collection programs that are more difficult things like tires and televisions, but also things that are kind of on the funny edge of recycling, like toothbrushes and pill bottles. A friend of mine once told me that you can't make more land. It's what makes it valuable, it's what makes it rare. It's just good to not have a whole lot of trash all the time. There's no point in it. Like, even if we do find new landfill space, like that's someone's field, that's someone's mountainside, that's a piece of land that either has been enjoyed by local wildlife or human beings for a long time.
Check your trash. There's no time to waste.